Hello and welcome to the Human Frequency. It's getting a little crazy out there. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's starting to turn into the third world out there, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. And I first want to just say that I actually practice self-quarantine every day. I don't really have much to do with the world. I don't really want to have much to do with the world. But we're coming to you today from our remote mountain outpost in southern Kern County in California. And I actually just went shopping today, just down into our small town to pick up some basic supplies. And even here in the middle of nowhere, the hysteria is kind of getting out of control. I would have to say that in smaller towns, it seems a little bit better than in the cities, but this coronavirus hysteria is out of control. And it seems like there's two camps of people. There are the people who are actually afraid of the virus, and then there's the people who are just afraid of quarantines and mostly just annoyed at the restrictions on buying. So
Now,
that's
I
what.
would like to point out that I don't know anyone who has this thing.
No.
Not only that, I don't know anyone who knows anyone who has this thing. So
Yeah.
who's getting this?
I can tell you that. We're going to go over some news headlines in a moment. Right now, I just want to say there is an agenda here, and we're dealing with a flu virus. It's a very normal thing that happens at this time of year. There is an agenda here, and that agenda is to change our lifestyle in America so that we are dealing with, like you said, third world conditions. We're
Right.
looking at food scarcity that we've never seen before. It's very strange. When I was out there shopping, I went to two stores. One was the Natural Foods Grocery and one was the regular supermarket in our little town. The Natural Foods Grocery was very hysterical over the virus. I have to say, I mean, I know this is a small town. It's going to get back to them if anybody watches this video, but it was
Doubtful.
it was a little much. I walk in the door. They've got this little stand with a hand sanitizer, so you can use that right away. They won't let you into the fridge to get the fruits and veggies. That's where they keep them. They won't let you in there. They've got to get them for you. And just a general feeling of concern. And from the proprietor of the shop, she was saying that they are implementing these measures now because the protocols are going to come anyway. Now, I am aware that we're going to talk about that with the news, but it's a bit much. And I went to the other supermarket and you were allowed to touch the fruits and vegetables. So at the Natural Foods Grocery, there was a real fear of the disease. That's where the Subaru people go and shop. And you know the Subaru people, you know who I'm talking about. Everyone knows who they are.
Everyone's been
They
stuck
got the Bernie
behind them.
Sanders.
Everyone's been stuck behind them going 30 to 50 miles per hour less than the speed limit. And
Yeah.
it's
And
frustrating.
they've got the Bernie Sanders stickers and they're wearing the face masks. Then you go to the regular supermarket where it's a little more conservative. And the complaints there are more about that people aren't being allowed to buy as much as they want to buy.
Yeah.
So at the regular supermarket, they put restrictions on how many paper products you could buy, one per household, bagged fruit, one per household. This is fine. I actually appreciated those restrictions because I'm tired of the shelves being empty, but it wasn't easy out there. All the bread was gone, and there's only a few types of bread I could even eat without my stomach exploding, so it wasn't that easy.
Well, watch, next time you go in there, they'll have a decontamination chamber set up that you have to enter and get hosed down and probably body scanned.
Well, let's hope there is a next time soon because
Maybe
there are a lot of things coming up right now where they're going to be trying to keep people in and trying to close down businesses, and we're going to be talking about that. But what's going on here is they are trying to program scarcity and control of our movements. This is getting very serious. They want to control our movements. They want to control our businesses. They are telling businesses to shut down. So they want to control our very movements of ourselves and our ability to earn an income. And they want us to have more dependence on the state. This is all happening right now. And I think they're running out of ideas because what we're looking at here is a flu virus, a very normal thing that happens this time of year. It's being blown completely out of proportion and people are actually buying into this.
Now, I must stress, though, that unlike 90% of the people talking about this right now, we actually have solutions,
Yes.
real practical solutions to offer you to get through this, because this
Yes.
isn't going to go on forever. I just read recently that the vaccine is already out and they're starting to test people. So that's one of the goals here, is to get as much mercury and thimerosal, and not to mention the disease itself, into people's bloodstreams as possible.
Yes, they definitely want to do that with the vaccine. And, the vaccine would actually be welcome in a way because it would mean that we could all get back to our lives.
Sort of herald
But
the end of this
yeah,
insanity.
I'm not going to get involved with that. I do not use vaccines. I have not had a vaccine I'm trying to think about how many years this has been.
22 years for me, 1998.
It's been I can't think. It's been at least a couple of decades for me too. I don't do that. But let's go over a few of the latest headlines. And when we go over our list of things to do to get through this crisis, one of them is actually to not look at the news, but I'm going to do that right now because it's important that we know what's going on because, in Los Angeles, things are getting a little bit crazy. And we do rely on LA for a lot of our needs because that is the city near us. But
lest you deem us to be hypocrites, we are going through these stories just to it's leading up to the solutions that we're prepared to offer.
Let's go in there and let's take a look at what's going on. And when things get difficult, it's good to enjoy a little bit of humor. And I would have to say Beavis and Butthead is a very good way to enjoy a little humor.
Very mature humor.
Yes.
For a very mature generation. Well, we're different generations.
Well, yeah, but my generation never grew up. We are the Gen Xers, and we are losers for life. So Beavis and Butthead is still in our. We actually watch this show. I enjoy it very much.
This is cool.
Let's go over some news headlines. Okay, Beavis, you can go down here, and let's pull up the news. All right.
Yeah, this is the one I just found.
Well, ABC7 is a treasure trove of disinformation for what's going on. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep.
It actually is what is going on in LA. It's disinformation regarding the virus, but important information regarding what the government wants to do to us.
When I pulled up this article, I saw through this immediately. You have to read between the lines. And I think we've talked about this on past episodes. If this guy's saying that 56% of Californians are expected to be infected with the virus, what do you think that means? That means that that's their goal in terms of how many people they're going to try and infect with this vaccine.
Well, the vaccine is the disease. I mean, people got to know that by now. I mean, we learned that in science class in school that when you get a vaccine, they're injecting you with diseases, and plus a bunch of other nasty stuff, mercury, and heavy metals.
So yeah, 56%. That's their target. That's their goal here.
I really just pulled up these articles to show you what's going on. Let's see. I wanted to see. I had a little bit of a fact in here. Here's what I was looking for. Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about how they're trying to use this to control our businesses because they are creating way too much control on the government now by restricting our own freedom to conduct business. And what's going on here? Gavin Newsom, governor of California, said Wednesday that the state typically received an average of 2,000 unemployment insurance claims a day, but on Tuesday they received 80,000. I know a lot of people's workplaces are closing down because of this, and it's unnecessary hysteria, and a lot of people are losing a lot of money over this. And this is part of the agenda, is to control our businesses. So that's why I pulled this up. We've got a few more articles here, and this is why people are out of work right now, is many businesses, and I will also point out these are all major corporations. They're in on this. They are closing. We have Kohl's and Marshall's, Home Goods, AMC movie theaters will be closed through the end of for 6 to 12 weeks.
JCPenney's still in business? I thought they went out of
there's one in Bishop. There's one in Bishop. Bishop, California, JCPenney.
That doesn't help us.
No. And it doesn't help anybody in Bishop either because it's closing. Macy's will be closing through March 31st. Bath and Body Works, the list. Well, you don't want to go there anyway because all their stuff has like nasty chemicals in it and smells. We did an episode about this a while back. It was about tower busting Sin City, Las Vegas, and washing off the Las Vegas smell. Bath and Body Works, nasty. So you don't want to go there anyway. But still, my point is that a lot of these places, Starbucks, can you believe it?
McDonald's is closing their places. I'm going to have to completely restructure my weekends now.
Yeah, what are you going to do for fun? Walmart is going to modify its hours. So we've got, and I don't shop there either. People from LA do
not
shop at Walmart. It is totally taboo. We shop at Target.
There's one in Burbank that I know of that was only put in there recently. But yeah, I don't know if anyone who shops.
LA people do not go there. So they are claiming that the cases of coronavirus are increasing in the United States. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on how much of that is true, but we are going to.
This is the problem. You can't really verify any of this information. They're just telling you something, and you either believe it or you don't. But there's no way to fact check. There's no way to we don't have our own lab to test people and see how they're doing. There's no way to.
Yeah, and there's a disproportionate number of celebrities and athletes and actors getting this disease.
True.
We're getting to that. Right now, we're just going to go over some of what's going on in LA. I'm sure it mirrors what's going on in your city too. LA is a major city, second biggest city in the US, and they are really trying to crack down on businesses now. So they are projecting 56% of the state's population are going to get this disease. And they are now they're implementing a safe at home order, which is where they're trying to quarantine us now and control our movements. And it's going to be a restriction on businesses. And let's see, I'm going to try to pull up the next tab here. Okay. This is what it comes down to. This comes down to government control over everything. And I'm not trying to promote fear here. We have the solution to all this, but I'm just showing you what they're working on here. Mayor Garcetti discussed $11 million to Small Business Assistance Program because they're forcing businesses or trying to force businesses to shut down. What does this assistance mean? They're not giving out money, I assure you. They're not giving away free money.
Gee, what a shock.
The new initiative will provide microcredit loans to help about 2,000 local businesses with bills and payroll. They're going to be giving loans.
More debt.
So not only are they stopping people from running their businesses over a hoax disease, this is the flu. They are actually going to put them in debt now. So the loans can range from $5,000 to $50,000. Can you imagine how hard it will be for these businesses to come out of this? The parasites are running out of ideas, and we're here to expose them today. I'm sick of this, and I've had enough of it. This has got to stop. People have got to wake up. I have 10 things I'm going to share with you on what you can do, and we can all overcome this. So let's take a look. Okay, my computer's doing something that's not helping me right now.
Just wait a second.
Okay, here's the next. Okay. All right. Let's talk about what is coronavirus. Now, they're saying that thousands and thousands of people are dying from this worldwide. On health.com, this is how many people die from the flu each year, according to the CDC. Let's take a look at this so we can all calm down a minute and get real about what's actually going on here, okay? This article says something very sensible. It says, while everyone is in a panic about the coronavirus, officially renamed COVID-19 by the World Health Organization, which I call computer virus 19 because it seems to be affecting artificial intelligence entities as opposed to humans.
Just a hypothesis.
There's an even deadlier virus people are forgetting about, the flu. This is what I've been trying to say. This is the flu. And it's cured by MMS. It's so easy to take care of this. But of course, the media is trying to push this MMS is dangerous. It's bad for you. You shouldn't use it because it cures the disease. So here it says flu season is hitting its stride right now in the US. So far, the CDC has estimated, based on weekly influenza surveillance data, that at least 12,000 people have died from influenza between October 1st, 2019 through February 1st, 2020. And the number of deaths may be as high as 30,000. This far exceeds what are they saying now, about 9,000? I think I've got a list here. We've got a little map. I'm trying to find the map. Here we go. We have a map of coronavirus cases in the US, and we are looking at, in the state of New York was the most, 4,158 confirmed statewide, 20 died. Okay, now let's go back to—
I like that, 0 recovered.
Yeah, 0, like you can't get over this thing. I mean, are you kidding me? Okay, so those 4,000 people will never get over it then. Okay, oh, this is a different article here, so I'll show you that in a minute. So if they're saying that 20 have died in New York, look at how many people have died from the flu. At least 12,000 in just the last few months, and this is before coronavirus. So let's get real and just take a deep breath and calm down for a minute, because this isn't really what they're saying.
Well, they're counting on people to not do what we are doing, to delve into this and start pulling up these articles with facts, figures, and numbers, and the dots don't connect.
No, well, to quote a famous saying, use your noodle, use your Google. Look it up. How many people die from the flu? WebMD. How many people go to WebMD when they're not feeling well and start like freaking out about all the crazy things they could have? I've done it. We've all done it. But let's look here a little more sensibly. How many people die from the flu? About 5% to 20% of Americans get the flu each year. More than 200,000 people are hospitalized. Does this sound like maybe a little worse than the Wuhan flu, or otherwise known as COVID-19? According to the CDC. And since the 1970s, between 3,000 and 49,000 people have died from the flu each year. So can we just get real for a minute here about what's going on?
And these are credited sources here.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is WebMD. We all go here to look up our symptoms and get scared that we have colon cancer. I mean, we all do that.
Yeah. I get a little itch on my face and I go to WebMD and then I come away thinking I have an ovarian cyst or something. It's not a good place to.
Well, it is good right now because it's showing us the truth here.
Right.
And that's important that we know this. And I also wanted to point out that many celebrities have this virus, a disproportionate number. I mean, I don't actually know anybody with it. I don't know anyone who knows anybody with it. And maybe with 6 degrees of separation, we all know a celebrity like Tom Hanks. But here are some celebrities, athletes, and politicians who have tested positive for coronavirus. There are many actors.
Well, they're all actors.
Yeah, and in fact, there are crisis actors involved in this too. Like there was a crisis actor in Italy who had his sister laying in bed dead and was doing a video in front of his dead sister laying in bed saying she died of coronavirus and Italy has abandoned us. How is this guy just standing there doing okay if his corpse, his sister's corpse is laying there, just this disease-ridden corpse? So this guy, I don't know this actor, Idris Elba, nice looking gentleman, but he has coronavirus. Supposedly. We've got a few other nice actors here. Nice actors.
With names that we cannot pronounce.
But this is a list of several people here. What's going on here? Athletes. We talked about this last week or a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
There are athletes that have gotten Kevin Durant. And who did you mention from Utah Jazz?
Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
And Donovan Mitchell. Yeah,
Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. So we have a lot of athletes, New Orleans Saints coach Sean Payton, many people, public figures.
And it's in hockey too, my sport. One of the players on the Ottawa Senators got it. So yeah, politicians and hockey players that aspire to be politicians.
Here's another, let's go through. See, I mean, there's a lot of people here, okay? The wife of Prime Minister of Canada. Okay. And the Prince Albert II of Monaco. How did he get coronavirus? He is not pushing around a cart at Walmart. I'm sorry. So we are looking at a lot of people here that have gotten the virus, a lot of famous people that have gotten the virus. Here's another very attractive couple here. The Spanish Prime Minister and his husband. I have to say they did a really good job on this transgender here. This guy really does a very pretty lady, and this woman here, this isn't a woman, a jawline, big shoulders, no waistline, but this nice looking couple here, the lady has coronavirus, and also I'm seeing it with a lot of politicians and celebrities and athletes. So we have to ask ourselves, can humans get coronavirus or can only they? And they are not human. You don't get into these positions of power if you're human. The movie They Live explains the whole thing. I know it's just a movie, but it's the truth. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute here.
Ugly suit. Nice tie, ugly suit.
So we have a list of things that you can do to get through this crisis. And if you're feeling sick at all, I mean, I'm always worried about getting sick. Even before this thing, I was doing all the things you're supposed to do to prevent coronavirus. I wash my hands. I don't touch my face when I'm out and about. And if I'm going to eat, I wash my hands first. And I'm very religious about that.
And we live in a remote mountain town, so we're quarantined to begin with.
Yeah.
Not because of anything we have, but because of other people.
Well, scarcity is a way of life for us too. And so we're used to this. So for us, shopping this way is pretty normal. I mean, you can't get much up here. There's really, organic food is very scarce, and just everything. You go down to the market, and one day they have organic tortilla chips, the next day they don't. Now they don't carry them anymore, and the health food store, it's all empty shelves, but it's not because of the virus. It's always all empty shelves there. So this is just sort of like a way of life in small town America. But we're used to it. I'm sure not everybody's used to it. So I want to say the first most important thing that you need to do is get MMS. That is miracle mineral solution, but scientifically it is called chlorine dioxide solution. And if you go back a couple of episodes, we explain how it cures all infectious diseases and how it is the answer to coronavirus or any other kind of flu.
Any bacteria, virus, parasite, any pathogen whatsoever, this stuff works. We've taken it, so we've used it successfully, and don't listen to what people say about it.
That it's bleach. We explain all
the bad
that.
press about it. It's entirely unfounded.
Well, we explain it, and so go back a couple episodes so I don't repeat myself. But it is a food grade bleach. Yes, it is a type of bleach. It's completely safe to ingest. It's used to purify water, and it's used to bleach products like flour, and it kills everything. And I've had great results with it.
And it's incredibly cheap.
It's unbelievably cheap.
That's another red flag as to why the disinfo is out there.
And I'm going to put a link. I found a company that sells it now. I'm going to put a link to it on the video, and you could check it out. I haven't bought from them because somebody made it for us, and he gave us like years supply. So I've been using this same batch of MMS since 2016 or 2015. I mean, we've had this for a long time.
About 4 years. I think.
It just lasts too. So once you get it, it lasts. But there's a company I think it's Water Purification Incorporated. They have to call it water purification because otherwise the FDA will come down on them. So that's how they are going to advertise it. But you can actually take this as a medicine to cure these diseases.
The FDA certainly manages to find its way into lots of different things, not just MMS, but orgone energy.
Oh,
too.
Absolutely. I mean, like our work is completely stigmatized. It's called pseudoscience, orgone energy. And we're actually going to talk a little bit about that too, because one of our things that you can do is to eliminate deadly radiation and bring in healthy radiation, healthy energy. So what else do I have here on my list? Stop watching the news. Okay, I know that you're going to probably still watch the news, but don't take it so seriously.
Take it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of disinfo going around right now.
This is the flu.
There's a lot of disinfo going around any other time too, but especially now it's really saturated with disinfo. Mm-hmm. So just use your discernment.
Yes.
We say this every time, but now more than ever.
And if you're actually afraid of getting the virus, I understand. I mean, even I come home from shopping, I'm like, is my breathing okay? I'm still thinking like that. So just have the MMS on hand. It's great. It's about $28 for a couple of bottles of the sodium chlorite and the citric acid or hydrochloric acid activator. It's really affordable. It's safe to use. When the media says that these are toxic things to take, you put them together and they create a compound that actually is used to purify municipal drinking water. So when I'm running a lot of water, sometimes like if I'm filling the washing machine, it smells like MMS. I notice the smell. They are using it in our water. I don't love the taste. I don't love that they're putting it in the water, but that's what they use to kill the germs, and you can use it too. So yes, definitely number 2 is stop watching the news or curtail your news enjoyment, or at least take it with a grain of salt. And number 3 is, yes, we're getting on to orgone energy. Orgone energy is the life force energy. You need it to live. It's what gives us life. It comes from our creator. It comes from the source of all life. It is life, and it fights disease and it keeps you healthy. But DOR, deadly radiation, like EMF, it makes you sick. That's why there's that 5G connection with Wuhan flu. It's not so much that 5G itself is causing it. It's that all forms of deadly radiation make the body sick.
Any form. So you can't be healthy when you have this deadly radiation source in your life constantly, because these things are constantly emitting. The Wi-Fi constantly emitting, cell phone constantly emitting, whatever it is. But those two, the Wi-Fi and the cell phone,
You
especially
got
the
to turn
cell
them
phone,
off. Turn them
those
off.
are the two biggest offenders. You must turn them off, and you must curtail your use. I know it's hard. Believe me, we know that, but this is an addiction.
Yeah, it
And
is.
the proof of that is in how hard it is to curtail it.
I know.
So
I get people telling me all the time, I can't quit. I know I can't quit. Well, I would say if it's really hard for you, just start turning it off when you're sleeping. Uh, Try turning it off during the day when you're not using, like if you go for a walk or a hike or something or a jog, just don't take it with you. Just leave it at home. Just start to wean yourself, and you can get Organite in your house. We sell Organite. We also offer videos on how to make your own at our website, thekembo.com. So this is a great tool you can use to neutralize deadly radiation, especially from outside sources. Because I don't say use it to neutralize your own cell phone. I say use it to neutralize your neighbor's Wi-Fi's and everything outside of your house.
yeah, the
And
stuff
don't
you can't
use
do
your cell
anything
phone.
about.
But of course, if you're still using it, try using this to help mitigate it a little bit. But orgone energy equals health, DOR equals sickness, and they do want us using the stuff and being sick. So definitely
Any
any
reduction,
EMF emitters you can turn off if you
any
want to
reduction helps.
it does help. So they also want you having a steady stream of fear. I almost forgot that part. They want you to use these devices because they program fear. They absolutely do. I used to be much more afraid and much more hysterical when I used a cell phone and Wi-Fi. And we've quit years ago, and it's changed my life. It's changed your life too, I think.
It has.
So I have some important information to share. This is our number 4. This is huge, and this is the legal name registration. And now, I don't like to talk about it too much, I know, because this is going to open the floodgates for the shills. I don't respond to a lot of emails I get about this anymore because a lot of people are just wasting my time. We have put out everything we know about this process, but let me explain why number 4 on our list is the legal name registration. When you're talking about the government controlling your movements and controlling your business, this is the answer. This is how you gain immunity from that. But you have to understand that you got into this mess because you have a legal name. And everybody has one. It was, certified at their birth. So everybody's walking around with a legal name. When you do this process, you are deciding to not be a member of society anymore. I am not a member of society. I'm not an American citizen. I'm not a citizen of any country. I have no national affiliation. And I also gain no benefits. I will never be able to get Social Security. Never, not that I could, because in my age group, it's not going to exist anymore for people my age. But my point is that if you are older and you're getting Social Security and you do this, it can affect all of this stuff. So if you want the government benefits, you want to be a part of society, this isn't for you. However, if you do this process, you gain immunity. And if you go back, it's probably been at least a couple years now, we did a video that was exposing what the government really is, which is a business entity. And you can go back and check that out. We have several videos on the legal name registration. But what it comes down to is this. The government does not control you at gunpoint, contrary to popular belief. They control you through 2 means. 1, they control your name. So they control you on paper. And 2, they control you through mind control, through getting you to submit to it and not to understand the legalities of it. They only control persons on paper. So,
and a person is not a living being.
No, it's that name. So when you do this process of registering it with the Minnesota Secretary of State, you are getting government issued paperwork that certifies with the state seal and the signature of the Secretary of State of Minnesota, the only state where you can do it properly, that name is a business. It's not a living man or woman. Therefore, its movements cannot be controlled because it's not you. So that's one thing.
But it is controlled by a living man or a living woman. And that is the key, is that separation from the legal name.
This is getting too complicated for people.
I understand.
I'm just trying to explain that if you register that name, it isn't you. And even if it's hard to understand this, once you go through the process, which we explained in a past video, and we give links on how to do this process, it's actually very easy to do, hard to understand. The name is what they control, not you. So if you register it as a business, there's no way they can control your movements. They can't do it. They can't arrest you even.
And
We know because we've been working with this
the
thing
whole
for years.
quarantine thing is also out of the
Yeah.
picture with this process done properly.
Right. And the other benefit to it is that if that name is a business, then it gains certain rights. And so when they're trying to, first of all, quarantine you or tell you where you can go, they can't do that because the name isn't you. Second of all, they can't tell your business to close because once it's registered and there's no living man or woman connected to it, no natural person, I know it's complicated, but when it's a business entity and there's no life given to it, there's no contractual obligation to close your business if the mayor tells you you have to. So complicated, yes, but go back and check out our old episodes. Please don't email me about it unless you really are stuck. If you need help with your passport application or something like that, I'm sorry. You can figure that out. But for the most part, there really isn't anything else I can offer you other than what we've put in our past videos, as well as a link to where you can see the instructions to register the name.
The fifth thing you can do is avoid this whole social distancing thing. I feel weird even saying the term
No, that's
social
the
distancing.
term they're using to program
'Cause
us.
it's stupid, and it's just a bunch of BS. It's just another way of getting people to be in a permanent state of distrust of other people, and to alienate us from our own brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
Which is what we are.
We are all one family, and they want us in our houses, on social media, watching the news, being just drowned in EMF, fear vibration, which is what it is. It's death, okay? EMF is death. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. If you're a smartphone user and you're addicted to this thing, which almost everyone is, you are surrounding yourself with the energy of death, and they are slowly killing you. So I just put it out there. It's up to you to stop doing it. If you think you're just fine, I can't really help you. You know, some people are more affected than others, but it's the energy of death. They want you at home absorbing it. It helps them to program the fear vibration into your heart. And they want you looking at all that media that programs fear. So the social distancing thing, we need each other right now. No, I'm not condoning going out to a rock concert. I'm not saying that, I wouldn't do that anyway. And I'm very careful about illness anyway. But we need each other. We need our neighbors. We need our friends and our families.
Yes. And I know everyone's really fixated on this virus right now, but the fact is that all of these problems going on in the world, all of them, every single one of them, we're all doing it to ourselves by our thoughtless actions, the things we do that we're just an autopilot. We don't even think about the things we do from day to day. And the problems in the world are all caused by this thoughtlessness, ultimately.
That's true.
So we have to take...
Conscious, you have to be conscious.
We have to take a serious look. And now that a lot of businesses are closing and schools are closing, now we have time to sit and think a little more clearly about things.
And in this way, and it's interesting that a friend said to me, this is going to backfire on them. It's really, it's really true. She says that people are getting closer now and helping each other more now. This is going to backfire on them. So yes, this is a time for us to support each other, and we need to increase our consciousness and stop being an autopilot, like you said.
Yes.
And the smartphones are a tool to decrease consciousness, and orgone energy is a tool to increase consciousness. That's why we make orgonite, and we live in our house with hundreds of orgonite pieces. This is why we've gifted thousands of orgonite pieces into the environment. And we recommend that you also either learn to make it or get it properly made. My videos on the website explain exactly how to make it properly so you can have functioning orgonite. But it's time for us to increase consciousness. And no, it's not just about using an energy tool, but that helps. We need to start to break down the programming.
Let's learn to cook.
That's number 6 on our list. It's a good time to learn to cook. Restaurants are closing. You can get food in the supermarket. And cooking is a great skill that I think everyone should know how to do. It's a much healthier way to eat than going to restaurants. Every time I go to a restaurant, I feel like a little less than healthy.
Yeah, it's not good to eat at restaurants. Even before this was happening, we didn't really we just ate at home
This
because
is a good time to learn.
it's many things. It's not just because of the virus. It's the ingredients are just, they're not the same anymore. They're
Well,
just,
yeah,
they're no good.
it's all like a GMO oils that they use. I always feel sick from that. And a lot of pesticides because the food's not organic. And this is a great time to just get healthy food in your house. I mean, that's pretty much the where it's going right now. And there's a lot of great websites online. I mean, just basic websites like All Recipes and Food Network and just stuff like that. Just learn to make something basic. Start researching it because cooking is a valuable skill and we can all get a lot healthier.
Number 7, stay off social media. And this is not unlike number 2, which is stop watching the news, but it's a little different. However, social media, and we don't have social media, by the way. I don't condone its use, and I think it's very deleterious at large. And what happens is with social media is that you have a bunch of people who don't really know anything. They're just repeating the narrative that they're told by whatever source it comes from. And that's how disinformation spreads. So stay off social media because it's not helping. It's not going to help you, and it's not going to help your family or your friends.
And sometimes people do share valuable things through social media, but the problem is it's always kind of colored by the EMF of the smartphones and the Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And I never really see people saying to stop using this stuff, so.
Yeah, there are exceptions.
But
There
they
are
never.
some nuggets of truth out there, but it's such a struggle to find that nugget of truth
Yeah.
amongst all the crap.
And then everything's always colored by this brainwashing vibration of the EMF from the phone. That's, most people are looking at it on the phone. Let's face it. These smartphones are demonic. I mean, they're so bad for you. I can't even begin to tell you how bad they are. So yeah, I agree. Staying off social media. And, it's a good time to kind of do stuff that's more introspective, meditation. You can go
Yes.
for walks. I don't know what they're doing in the city right now. I don't think they can literally control your movement. But you can go for a hike, you can go for a walk, just anything that you can do to get away from all that. Because in the real world here, things are actually okay. It's not like what they're making it out to be.
What
And
else?
number 8 on our list is not to worry about martial law and quarantines. There's a lot of fear going on about this right now. And like I said, I know this is a difficult thing, but if you can understand what that legal name is and how they control you through the name, not at gunpoint, then you know that you aren't going to get quarantined if you do the process. And even if you don't do the process and you have a legal name and you're called by that name, they can't control 7.8 billion people on Earth. They don't have the military might to do this. So we have to kind of just relax a little. I mean, the governor of California was kind of hinting at it, but then saying, oh, we're not actually going to do it. So remember, we're not controlled by gunpoint. I will say, without getting into too much detail, we've actually been in encounters with police officers who were armed, and there's nothing that they could do. And not that we're like criminals or anything, but there's nothing they can do to people who don't have legal names. They literally can't do it. Do you know they can only arrest you in person? They can only arrest you in person if you are that person. If you're not that person, they can't touch you. They can only arrest a legal name. They can only execute a legal name. They can only quarantine a legal name.
And if you're giving life to that non-living legal name, then you, for all intents and purposes, are it. And then they can do anything to you.
Yeah, what's going on right now is they're literally just trying to see how far they can take this. They want to see
Yeah,
how far people will let them go. And people are scared of quarantines. And in fact, I think people are more afraid of that than the virus. So they're trying to see how far can we take this thing? How far will they let us go? Because what they're going to do is they will try to break the law if they can. They know the law. It's their law. If you don't know it, they're going to take advantage of you. If you know it, there's nothing they can do. And I mean, we are living proof of that. We're not talking too much about our own legal name adventures right now. We have to let things play out. We have to learn more about it because all that we can share with you is what we actually know. I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction by taking guesses or anything like that. So what we've shared so far is what we know.
And these supposed authorities out there, they rely on you not knowing the law because, like you said, they will
push it.
keep painting you into a
Yep.
corner to see how far they can, how much they can get away with.
Yes.
And it's up to you to call them on it. And once you do that, then they back off.
There's nothing they can do at that point. And we have seen that work.
It'll still be a fight. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
They will keep battling with you, but it will get even worse if you don't fight back. And the only way to fight back is not with physical violence.
No, all this stuff about civil disobedience and armed militias and stuff like that. That's not how it's going to go down.
Missing the point.
This is it is missing the point because that assumes that they control us at gunpoint, and they don't. I assure you, they don't. I remember Adam Kokesh saying that they control us with the threat of violence. That's incorrect. He doesn't know anything about the law. I'm sorry. He doesn't know a thing about it. So if you're listening to him on that, he doesn't know. This guy's been to jail how many times? I mean, and I've never been to jail, and I never will go to jail. And if they tried it, well, I would say they'd get in trouble, but they couldn't do it because I don't have a legal name. They literally can't do it if you don't have a legal name. So no, they don't control us.
They couldn't even process the paperwork to do it.
Right. And so what I'm explaining is it's all on paper. Everything is on paper. It's only because you give life to that name by being a member of their society. I'm not a member of society. I don't vote. I don't pay taxes. I don't do any of that, but I also don't gain any benefits from it, but I don't want those benefits. I want the benefits that come from God. And that leads us to our 9th thing that you can do to get through this crisis is to read the Word of God.
Just real quick, you don't have to pay taxes. You're not a tax protester.
Oh, no, I'm not
huge difference.
I'm not a protester of any kind. I don't have a need to protest. I actually completely comply with the law. And my business entity is totally in compliance with the legal system. Everything is on the up and up. There's no shenanigans going on here. So when you hear about people going to jail, Sean David Morton, that's a big name. He went to jail for a big tax scam he pulled. We don't do that, okay?
Or people who have to leave the country because there are a bunch of alphabet agencies after them.
Yeah, we do not do that. So if you're listening to somebody who is a sovereign citizen or somebody who had to leave the country because of what they did, I don't endorse any of that. What we do is legal, and that's what's so great about it is the legal name registration is legal. It's part of their system.
100%.
And like I said, they control us through paper, not at gunpoint. When you understand what they're doing, you can get out. And when you get out, you regain your birthright. You have to understand who is actually in charge here. And that is way, way beyond us. That's a force beyond us. We can't understand. That force is God. You could call it orgone energy. You could call it the Great Spirit. You could call it the Holy Spirit. Whatever you want to call this force, you have no control over it. It can take your life at any time. It can take your stuff at any time. You have no control. So if you think you do, you're wrong. So if you read the Word of God, for me, that's the Bible. I read the Bible. There are different holy books that people read and gain encouragement from. But we do need to go back to basics right now. And that is the law that we live by.
And we read the Messianic Jewish Family Bible. We're not Messianic Jews, but it's the Bible that we were led to.
Yeah, we were
through personal events in our lives, specifically my great great aunt, dying in the massacre in Pittsburgh at the synagogue in 2018.
And the synagogue was called the Tree of Life.
Tree of Life Synagogue.
And this was the wake-up call because when we were back in Pittsburgh in Maryland for a family event in October of 2017, we were told about this because Gabe's relatives are Messianic Jews, which is pretty much like Christian. I mean, it's almost the same religion. It's just people who may have started out as Jewish, but they were led to Messiah, Yeshua, in the New Testament.
I must say, though, we are completely anti-religion.
We're not a religion.
Religions are not. Religions have nothing to do with God. Religions are not a creation of God. They're a creation of man, a creation of the state.
Yeah.
Religions are all corporations, and they are all there to keep us separated from the knowledge that God is trying to give us right now. And I would like to impart a little bit of that to you, if I may. I've been reading fervently and coming towards the end here. This is from 2 Corinthians 12, chapter 12, verses 7 through 10. And this is just to reinforce the need to be courageous in times that are difficult. And when things get even more difficult, it's not the time to cave. It's the time to be even more courageous and do what is right with even more steadfastness. And so I'm going to read here again, the 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7 through 10. So that I would not exalt myself, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to torment me. So I would not exalt myself. I pleaded with the Lord 3 times about this, that it might leave me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly in my weaknesses, so that the power of Messiah, that's Jesus, Yeshua, may dwell in me. For Messiah's sake, then, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in distresses, in persecutions, in calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong.
So bring it on.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead with your attacks, because we don't allow comments because I don't need it done publicly, but you can go ahead and attack me by email. That's what I usually get.
Or you can attack me.
Yeah.
Take some of the burden off.
Well, we both get them, you know, and people can be very vicious. So,
but they can also be very nice.
Yes, they
and
can.
Be very supportive.
Yes.
And we rely on that support to allow us to do what we do. And that's just the truth.
Yes.
And that
moral support too. It's not just the financial support. We love the moral support. And I thank you for sending nice messages when you do.
Yes. And that leads us to number 10, which is read the word of Sharon.
This whole thing has been leading up to being an advertisement for my book. Exactly. I really do appreciate that you wanted to include that on this list, because my book, Invisible Soldier, Silent War, is about the planetary emergency and how we can use orgone energy to get through all of this. And it's more than that. I unravel all of the controlled opposition, the different levels of media and all this stuff. So anything related to this coronavirus thing that's going on, you can actually learn about it from the book, which was written before any of this happened. Yep. And
all the solutions are in there.
It's all in there. So if you want to get my book, I'll show you what it looks like here.
And it's a break-even price, by the way.
Yeah, we're not really making anything
off this. We're selling it for $45. We're just breaking even.
This is my book.
This is a 340, right?
340 page, full color. It even has, I'm just going to show you real quick, okay? It even has UFOs. It even has, I'm going to show you my favorite UFO. I have a bunch of nice UFOs. But, you know, but it doesn't do it justice. The spinning orb here, you know, stuff like that is something you kind of have to look at in the book. And I might be putting some of these pictures up on the website too. But there's a lot of cool pictures of sky transformations and really nice up close pictures of the weird planes. You see the one that's almost invisible right here?
Planes doing weird things.
But the point is, I have the color pictures and all the news stories and things that happen after these gifting trips. I have every gifting trip in here. I have exactly what happened, what orgone energy does in the environment, and I prove it with 5 years of field work. I prove what it does. And it's not just the environment that helps, it's us. So I hope that you check it out. And if you can't afford $45 for a book, that I understand. The website has a ton of this information on it already. Mm-hmm. The blog has all of it. So you can just read it for free online through the website and blog. But the important thing is, we
rely on you for support, though.
Well, we do, and we appreciate it. The important thing is here that the book gives you the solutions to all of this. Mm-hmm. So it helps you unravel all the controlled opposition from the mainstream through the alternative, through the most unsuspected stuff. Like, I mean, these really not even that well-known internet shills that are out there. I don't name names, but I explain how to discern them. The book explains what orgone energy does in the body and in the environment. And I prove it through the environment, but it also works in us. So all these solutions are given.
Just real quick, before I forget, back to the other book, the Word of God, the Bible. When you see the word Satan, you know, a lot of us have this mental image come into our heads of Jimmy Swaggart or Pat Robertson or one of these televangelists saying some line of BS. But it's all Satan means is just evil. It's just evil.
It actually means literally the adversary.
Yes.
Satan means the adversary. It's against God.
It's not some little red guy with a pitchfork. It is the personification of evil.
You make it sound so cute. I'm just kidding. Uh,
but we can
it's not a
we
little
can
red
see
guy.
no we can we can see it, we can see evil quite plainly, especially in these times.
Yeah, and it lives in people. You see, God lives in us. He dwells in us, and
And
that's
that scripture I read, that's Paul writing. And when he says i I asked for relief, he's talking about he had an entity
yes,
attachment,
he did, and
and you
that's what
can't get that entity
yes.
attachment removed from some Skype healer with a smartphone. It just ain't gonna
Right.
work.
Okay. And again, back to my book, not to pitch my book so much, but just to let you know that it has so much useful information. I explain about the entity attachments and what it is and how to deal with it. They are easy to get rid of. You just have to take control of your own energetic field. And that is what everyone is covering up right now, even the alternative media. So you're not going to hear this. As you notice, I don't get interviewed by anyone ever, except for a few nice people. There's a few nice, legitimate, honest people out there that do interview me
Coincidence?
once in a while.
I think not.
Yeah.
And another coincidence is, of course, as soon as your book comes out, then this whole
They don't want it.
pandemic thing starts.
They don't want people knowing the solution. I'm telling you, they tried everything they could to stop this book. They even flew that Air Force cargo plane through my neighborhood, not over my neighborhood, through my neighborhood. It was below the level of a lot of the houses here on the hills.
You can go back to
go back and check it out.
This is War video.
Yeah, this is
a couple
War.
videos ago.
And also, you can learn a little bit about my book a couple videos back too. But they don't want us having this information, so they're doing this huge distraction campaign right now because people are really figuring out. It's starting to make mainstream news. By the way, there was an article on Yahoo today that talked about that they can actually measure the human's perception of the electromagnetic field of the Earth. So it's starting to make mainstream news and mainstream science. They don't want it. And Mercola put out a book about this. I read a little excerpt from it in this magazine I got at Target on the harm of 5G and Wi-Fi and stuff like that. It's good that it's making the mainstream. He does not tell you complete abstinence, and he does not seem to know about Organite. Organite is such a great tool to deal with the Wi-Fi and EMF you can't control.
And no, we weren't using the magazine because they were out of toilet paper, so don't ask.
Well, the TP crisis seems to be dying down now, and really,
hopefully,
I just I recommend that during this time that you just go within and do what I do every day. I'm in self-quarantine all the time. I've been in self-quarantine for 4 years. I mean, we live in the middle of nowhere. It's not easy. I don't like the isolation. I get a little sad sometimes being so far from people and being in kind of a wicked, sinful place. But that's where everything is. I mean, a lot of the people up here are here to avoid types of people they don't like us. They don't like us, but that's okay. I don't like it here very much, but I do love the nature. I don't love being around conservative people who are closed-minded, but I do love being in the woods with all the beautiful animals, the quails, and our beloved rescue horse that we started paying for a couple of years ago because no one else was taking care of him. And so we have a lovely animal companion, and we do like being here for those reasons. So. Yeah,
the human element is the problem.
It's the problem.
But that would be the problem anywhere.
So,
you talk about sinful, and Los Angeles isn't.
No, I know. It all is. So there's definitely time to go within and read the Word of God. And if it's not your thing, if you don't believe in God in that way, I understand. The cosmic orgone energy is the energy of God, and it is your way to tap into the source of creation. So however you understand that, that's what you need to tap into right now to get through this crisis and take this time to enjoy your time alone. It actually is a valuable experience. And don't isolate your family and friends. It's not necessary.
This is all in the book too, by the way. And I think it's really interesting that the book comes out and then this virus comes out, but you're talking in the book about how to deal with it.
Yeah, I do. So anyway, thank you so much for listening, and be well, take care of yourselves. If you start to feel sick, take that MMS. Don't let them scare you out of it. It is the cure for everything.
Take it right away, whatever it is.
And you can come to our website, thekembo.com. There's a link in the description. And you can learn more about our work with Orgone Energy. That's really our main work, although we do these videos because we know a lot of different topics. So we like to share our knowledge and help out any way we can. The independent media is not really putting out a lot of useful information these days. So we're trying to pick up the slack a little. Thanks so much for your support, both financial and your moral support. We really appreciate it when you send us nice messages. Thank you, and we will see you again next time.